How does the tech that runs our world really work? We break it down to its fundamental truths. This is First Principles.
You receive an email on a Tuesday morning. It's from your boss, or maybe a colleague from another department. The subject line references a project you were just discussing yesterday. It reads, "Quick question about the Q4 projections." The tone is just right, casual, a little urgent. It uses the company's standard email signature. It even references a recent company-wide announcement. There's a link to what looks like a shared document. You're busy, you have a dozen other things to do, so you hover your mouse over the link, and you pause. Something, just a flicker in the back of your mind, feels off. Maybe you click it, maybe you don't. But a moment later, another email arrives. This one is from your IT department's automated security system. It says, "A malicious link was detected and blocked." You feel a small jolt of relief, mixed with a little bit of unease. You were so close, but the system caught it. It worked. The invisible shield that surrounds your digital life held firm. We've all had this experience, or something like it. The spam filter that catches a suspicious invoice. The text from your bank asking if you really just spent $80 on a subscription service you've never heard of. The little pop-up from your security software that says it has quarantined a threat. We live with this silent guardian every day, a complex, intelligent system standing watch over our data, our identity, our money. It feels smart. It doesn't just block the obvious scams anymore, the ones promising a Nigerian prince's fortune. It catches the subtle ones, the sophisticated ones. It seems to learn. It seems to know what to look for. Even when the threat is brand new, we have this general sense that AI is involved, that computers are getting smarter at playing defense, and we trust it. But have you ever stopped to wonder how that actually works? Not just in a vague, the computer runs a scan sort of way. What is it really doing when it detects a threat? What are the fundamental rules, the first principles, that allow a piece of software to make a judgment call, to tell the difference between a legitimate request from your boss and a nearly perfect forgery designed to steal everything? And what about the other side of that coin, that email that was so convincing, so tailored to you? How did the attackers make it so good? This is the other side of the magic, the darker side. The feeling that the threats themselves are also getting smarter, more personal, more intelligent. It's as if there's an intelligence on both sides of the firewall. One protecting you, one hunting you. Today on First Principles, we are opening the black box of AI in cybersecurity. We're going to look past the jargon of firewalls and malware signatures and explore the invisible algorithmic arms race that is happening right now, in the microseconds between you clicking a link and your computer deciding whether or not to open it. It's a story about a battle of wits, fought not between humans, but between two different kinds of artificial intelligence. The magic we see every day is one of quiet competence. Our digital lives, for the most part, just work. Our computers boot up without issue. Our online banking is secure. Our email inbox is mostly free of the absolute deluge of garbage that is constantly being thrown at it. We take this for granted. But the sheer scale of the problem our security systems are solving is staggering. Experts estimate that hundreds of billions of spam emails are sent every single day. Over 100,000 new malicious websites are registered daily, and hundreds of thousands of new malware variations are created in a 24-hour period. It's a fire hose of digital poison pointed at every single person and organization on the planet. And yet we barely notice it. Our experience is one of calm. This is because the tools we use have evolved from simple gatekeepers into something that feels more like a seasoned detective. Think about the last time you got a fraud alert from your credit card company. Maybe you were traveling, and you used your card in a new city. A few seconds later, your phone buzzes. Did you just attempt a transaction for $45.15 in Denver? The system didn't just see a transaction. It saw a story. It saw your card, which is typically used in Belmont, Massachusetts, suddenly pop up 1,000 miles away. It combined that geographic data point with the time of day, the type of merchant, and your own personal spending history. It noticed a deviation from the pattern. It saw a single sentence in your financial story that didn't quite make sense, and it flagged it for review. This is the new reality of defense. It's proactive, it's predictive, it's pattern-based. It learns you. It learns your company's network. It builds a model of what normal looks like, and its entire job is to spot the abnormal. This is a profound shift from how things used to be, and on the other side of the battlefield, the offense has evolved in lockstep. The attacks are no longer just blunt instruments. They are scalpels. A modern phishing attack might not be a generic email sent to 1 million people. It might be a spear phishing attack aimed directly at you. The email might reference your hometown, your alma mater, your job title, the name of your company's CEO, all information that can be scraped from your public LinkedIn or Facebook profiles. The attacker might even know you're expecting a package from FedEx and send a fake delivery update at the exact right time. The illusion is so perfect because it's built from the truth of your own life. This is the magic of the modern digital arms race, an intelligent defense, locked in a perpetual struggle with an intelligent offense. One side learns to recognize patterns, the other learns to perfectly mimic them. To really understand how we got here, we need to rewind the clock. We need to go back to a time before AI was part of the conversation, back to the early days of viruses and the dawn of the cybersecurity industry. In the 1980s and 90s, the world of digital threats was, in a way, much simpler. A computer virus was a piece of code written by a human, and its goal was to replicate and spread. The defense against it was also human-driven. When a new virus was discovered in the wild, like the infamous Morris worm or the I love you virus, security researchers would get to work. They would capture a sample of the virus, put it in a secure digital environment, and dissect it. They would analyze its code, looking for a unique, identifiable piece of it, a string of ones and zeros that acted like a fingerprint. This was called the virus's signature. Once they had the signature, they would add it to a massive database. Your antivirus software was, essentially, just that database, a digital most wanted list. When you ran a scan, the software would meticulously check every file on your computer, comparing its digital fingerprint to the list of known bad guys. If it found a match, it sounded the alarm. This is called signature-based detection, and for a long time it was the best tool we had. But it had a massive, fundamental flaw. It was entirely reactive. An antivirus program could only protect you from threats that had already been discovered, analyzed, and added to the list. It was like a bouncer at a nightclub who has a list of known troublemakers. If someone on the list shows up, they get stopped at the door. But if a brand new troublemaker arrives, one whose name isn't on the list yet, they walk right in. In cybersecurity, this brand new threat is called a zero-day attack. It's an attack that exploits a previously unknown vulnerability, and because it's new, there is no signature for it. On the day it is unleashed, day zero, it is effectively invisible to all signature-based defenses. The security companies would have to scramble to capture it, analyze it, create a new signature, and push an update to millions of users. But by then, the damage was often already done. The defenders were perpetually one step behind the attackers. It was a race they could never truly win. The core problem was one of imagination. A human had to write a virus, and another human had to catch it and write a signature. But the attackers could automate the process of creating slight variations of their viruses, changing the code just enough to create a new, unique signature that wouldn't be on the list. They could create thousands of new variants a day. The human defenders just couldn't keep up. The model was broken. A new approach was needed. The world needed a bouncer who didn't need a list. It needed a bouncer who could spot a troublemaker just by the way they walked. This is where we open the box. To understand the leap from the old way to the new way, we need a powerful analogy. Forget computers for a moment. Instead, imagine you are the head of security for a world-famous art museum. Your job is to protect a priceless collection of paintings and sculptures. For years, you've relied on the classic signature-based method. You have a thick binder behind your desk, filled with photos of every known art thief in the world. Your security guards are trained to memorize these faces. If they see someone from the binder enter the museum, they apprehend them. Simple, effective, for a while. But one day, a new, brilliant art thief comes to town. No one knows what she looks like. Her photo isn't in your binder. She walks right past your guards, steals a degas, and disappears into the night. You were completely blind to the threat because you were only looking for faces you already knew. This is the zero-day problem. You realize your entire security philosophy is flawed. It's reactive. So you decide to try something radical. You fire the guards who memorize photos. Instead, you hire a new kind of guard. This guard doesn't get a binder of mugshots. For the first month on the job, her only task is to sit in the museum and watch. She does nothing else. She watches the flow of tourists on a Tuesday morning versus a Saturday afternoon. She learns the routes the cleaning crews take at night. She memorizes the exact hum of the ventilation system in Gallery C. She notes how long the average person stands in front of the Mona Lisa. She learns the patterns, the rhythms, the pulse of the museum. She doesn't learn what bad looks like. She learns, with immense and granular detail, what normal looks like. She builds a baseline model of the museum's everyday operation in her mind. Now, the new art thief returns. She slips in with the crowd. But she does something no ordinary tourist does. She walks through the impressionist wing backward. Or maybe she lingers in a dimly lit hallway for 12 minutes when the average person only stays for 30 seconds. Or she tries a door that leads to a utility closet, a door no visitor has ever tried before. Your new guard's brain doesn't see a face from a binder. It doesn't know this person is an art thief. All it knows is that it is witnessing an anomaly, a deviation from the established, learned pattern of normal. An alarm bell goes off in her head. She doesn't know exactly what's wrong, but she knows something is wrong. She intercepts the person, and the theft is prevented. This is the first principle of modern AI-powered cybersecurity. It's a shift from identifying the known bad to identifying the unknown abnormal. It's called anomaly detection. The AI isn't a bouncer with a list. It's a security guard who has developed an incredibly deep, intuitive feel for the environment it's protecting. So let's bring this analogy back to the digital world. That museum, with its rhythms and patterns, is a company's computer network, or your personal computer, or even just your email inbox. The AI security system is that new guard. During a training phase, the machine learning model is fed a colossal amount of data about what normal looks like in that specific environment. It's not looking for viruses. It's just observing. It logs billions of data points, which in the world of machine learning are called features. A feature could be anything. The time of day an employee logs in, the geographic location of that login, the average number of emails they send per hour, the size of the files they typically download. the specific servers they usually connect to. The AI takes all of these features and builds a complex, multidimensional mathematical model of the network's normal state of operation. This is the baseline. It's the AI's understanding of the museum's pulse. Once this baseline is established, the AI's job is to watch for deviations, and this is where it becomes so powerful. Let's say an employee, Bob, suddenly logs in at 3 a.m. from an IP address in a country he's never connected from before. That's an anomaly. The AI might not block it immediately, but it assigns it a risk score. A moment later, Bob's account attempts to access the company's payroll server, a server he has no legitimate reason to access. Another anomaly. The risk score goes up. Then, his account tries to download the entire employee database, a file that is thousands of times larger than anything he has ever downloaded before. Anomaly number 3. The AI, seeing these 3 deviations from the learned pattern of normal, concludes that the probability of this being a malicious actor who has stolen Bob's credentials is extremely high. It automatically locks the account and alerts the human security team. Notice what didn't happen. The AI never saw a virus. It never matched a signature from a database. It didn't know what the attack was. It only knew that this sequence of events was a radical departure from the established baseline of Bob's normal behavior. It stopped a threat it had never seen before. It defeated a zero-day attack. This is the power of AI as the watchtower. It can be applied to almost anything. Your credit card company learns your spending patterns. Your email provider learns the style and content of the emails you typically receive and can flag one that, while it looks fine on the surface, deviates from that learned norm. It's a paradigm shift. Security is no longer about maintaining a list of every evil thing in the world. It's about deeply understanding what good looks like and having the intelligence to spot anything that doesn't fit. But this is only half of the story, because the very same technological principles that allow for such a powerful defense are now being used to build a terrifyingly effective offense. The art thief has learned a new trick. She knows she's not being watched for who she is, but for what she does. She knows the guard is looking for anomalous behavior. So, she decides to use her own intelligence to perfectly mimic normal behavior. Before the heist, she uses AI to analyze thousands of hours of security footage from the museum. Her AI learns the same patterns the guard did. It learns the exact dwell time for each painting. It learns the precise walking speed of a typical tourist. It learns the subtle social cues of how people interact with the art and each other. Then, the AI generates a perfect script for the thief, a step-by-step guide to navigating the museum that is so perfectly normal it becomes invisible. The script tells her, stand in front of the Renoir for 27.5 seconds, move to the Monet, linger for 42 seconds, pause at the water fountain for 4.8 seconds, proceed down the main hall at a speed of 1.2 meters per second. She follows the script flawlessly. Her every action is a perfect imitation of the baseline. She is a ghost in the machine, hiding in plain sight. This is the first principle of AI-powered offense. Attackers are using generative AI, the same kind of technology that powers tools like ChatGPT and Midjourney, to craft attacks that are so good they disappear into the noise of our everyday digital lives. The most common example is the one we started with, the phishing email. In the past, you could often spot a scam email by its poor grammar, its generic greeting, or its slightly off logo. These were mass-produced forgeries. But today, an attacker can use AI to automate the creation of flawless, highly personalized emails at an unprecedented scale. They can feed an AI model a target's LinkedIn profile, their company's website, and recent press releases. The AI can then generate a spear-phishing email that is indistinguishable from a real one. It can mimic the writing style of the person it's impersonating. It can reference specific, real-world projects and deadlines. It can generate 1,000 different variations, each one uniquely tailored to a different employee within the same company, making it incredibly difficult for a single defensive rule to catch them all. This extends far beyond email. Attackers are using AI to find the vulnerabilities in the first place. Instead of a human hacker manually probing a company's website for weaknesses, they can unleash an AI that automatically and relentlessly scans for every possible loophole, every misconfiguration, every unpatched piece of software. It's like having a million art thieves simultaneously tapping on every window and checking every door of the museum, 24 hours a day. The AI can even write the malicious code itself. An attacker can give a generative AI model a simple prompt, like write a piece of code that can steal passwords from a web browser and send them to a remote server, and make sure it can evade detection by common antivirus software. The AI will oblige. It's the weaponization of creative intelligence. It's no longer just a human attacker versus a human defender. It's an AI-powered attacker versus an AI-powered defender. It's a silent, invisible, algorithmic war. And this brings us to the deepest, most surprising part of this story. It's the concept that truly defines this new era of cybersecurity. It's a non-obvious principle that reveals just how strange and counterintuitive this algorithmic arms race has become. We have our intelligent guard, who has mastered the pattern of normal, and we have our intelligent thief, who has learned to perfectly mimic that pattern. It seems like a stalemate, but the thief has one more trick up her sleeve. She has discovered a fundamental weakness in the guard's perception. The guard's brain, while brilliant at spotting large-scale patterns, has strange blind spots. It can be fooled by things a human would never fall for. The thief discovers that if she modifies her behavior in a very specific, almost imperceptible way, she can make herself completely invisible to the guard, even while doing something overtly criminal. For instance, maybe she discovers that if she wears one blue contact lens and one green one, the guard's brain, for some strange reason rooted in the way it learned to process faces, literally cannot perceive her. She could stand in front of the guard, take a painting off the wall, and the guard's mind would simply edit her out of existence. Or maybe she finds that if she hums a specific, obscure musical note, a B-flat, pitched at a precise frequency, it creates a kind of auditory glitch in the guard's perception, and she can do whatever she wants without being detected. This sounds like science fiction, but in the world of artificial intelligence, this is a very real phenomenon. It's called an adversarial example. It turns out that the very machine learning models used in cybersecurity and in all sorts of other applications like self-driving cars and medical imaging have these strange, built-in blind spots. An attacker can take a piece of malicious code, a virus, and make a few tiny mathematically calculated changes to its binary structure. To a human analyst, the file would still look like a virus. It would function as a virus. But to the AI detection engine, those tiny, specific changes are like the B-flat hum. They exploit a loophole, a blind spot in the AI's learned model of the world, and cause the AI to classify the dangerous virus as a perfectly safe, benign file. The attacker has essentially designed a key that fits a lock the defender didn't even know existed. This is the unseen giant of modern cybersecurity. The real arms race isn't just about making smarter defensive AI. It's about a bizarre cat-and-mouse game centered around discovering and patching these adversarial vulnerabilities. Attackers are now using AI to probe defensive ice, searching for these blind spots. They will generate millions of slightly modified versions of a virus, testing each one against the security software, until they find one that slips through. They are, in essence, reverse engineering the mind of the defensive AI. In response, the defenders are now forced to do something called adversarial training. They intentionally create their own adversarial examples, these tricky, modified viruses, and use them to train their own AI models. They are showing their AI the illusions and magic tricks the attackers use, in the hope of making it more robust, of teaching it not to be fooled. So picture this. One team of engineers is building an AI designed to learn what normal network traffic looks like. Another team of engineers, the attackers, is building an AI designed to study that first AI and find its logical weaknesses. And then the first team starts using its own attacking AI to find weaknesses in its defensive AI so it can patch them before the real attackers find them. It's a battle of algorithm against algorithm, a fight over the nature of perception itself, taking place in a realm of pure data, all to determine whether that link in your email is safe or not. This is the profound, hidden reality of our digital security. It's not a static wall. It's a dynamic, ever-shifting intellectual war between competing intelligences, each one constantly learning, adapting, and trying to outsmart the other. So we've taken quite a journey. We started with the simple, almost magical experience of being protected by an invisible guardian. We felt the unnerving cleverness of an attack that seemed to know us personally. We held these two ideas in our head, a good AI and a bad AI. We then traveled back in time to the simple world of digital signatures, of bouncers with lists, and understood that this old model was doomed to fail because it could only ever be reactive. The first principle we uncovered was the shift to anomaly detection, the idea of a security guard who learns the rhythm of a museum, who knows normal so deeply that any deviation stands out. This is the secret to stopping threats that have never been seen before. But then we saw how this same principle was inverted, how attackers now use AI to create perfect forgeries, to become ghosts in the machine by flawlessly mimicking the patterns of normal behavior. The real aha moment, the deepest principle, was the discovery of the adversarial example. The shocking fact that these powerful AI minds have strange, exploitable blind spots. That the true battle is not just about spotting anomalies, but about a recursive, dizzying war where one AI is constantly trying to fool another AI, which is in turn being trained not to be fooled. Understanding this matters because it changes how we should think about digital security. It's not a product you can just buy and install. It's not a problem that will ever be solved. It is a living, breathing ecosystem, a perpetual arms race. And the battlefield is the logic of the machines themselves. The fundamental truth is that as our tools for defense become more intelligent, so too will our tools for attack. This is the inescapable symmetry of technological progress. The silent algorithmic war, fought over the subtle definition of a pattern, the mathematical exploitation of a blind spot, is now the permanent, invisible foundation of trust in our connected world.
You've been listening to First Principles. Until next time, stay curious.